Every gardener knows the heartbreaking feeling of walking out to the garden bed, filled with anticipation, only to find a carpet of pristine, white pepper blossoms scattered on the soil. You spent weeks nurturing these plants from tiny seeds. You watered them diligently, protected them from early spring frosts, and watched them grow into magnificent bushy green giants. They produced dozens of promising buds, but instead of turning into crisp bell peppers or fiery jalapenos, those buds simply snapped off and fell to the ground. Most gardeners immediately assume they are doing something wrong with their watering schedule, or they start searching frantically under the leaves for hidden pests. They might pour more water onto the soil or worse, spray harsh chemical insecticides that do more harm than good. But despite their best efforts, the flower drop continues, and the dream of a heavy harvest begins to slip away. Most gardeners don't know this, but the problem is rarely about water or bugs. Instead, your pepper plant is likely caught in a silent, internal struggle for survival. When a pepper plant has gorgeous, deep green foliage, but refuses to set fruit, it is often a victim of its own vegetative success. Early in the growing season, we tend to feed our gardens with fertilizers rich in nitrogen. Nitrogen is fantastic for building leafy canopies and strong stems. However, when the plant transitions from growing leaves to producing flowers and fruit, its nutritional demands undergo a dramatic shift. Here's where the real secret begins. If the soil is overloaded with nitrogen but lacks other critical minerals, the plant will keep producing beautiful leaves while completely abandoning its reproductive duties. The plant simply does not have the nutritional resources required to support the massive energetic demands of turning a delicate blossom into a heavy, seed-filled fruit. Recognizing this imbalance early is key, and your plants will actually show you subtle warning signs long before the flowers start falling. One of the most reliable signs of a plant in distress is the strength of its flower stems, or pedicels. If you gently touch a flower bud and it snaps off with the slightest pressure, your plant is starving for the right nutrients. Another classic symptom is the appearance of faint yellowing or curling along the outer margins of the lower, older leaves, while the veins remain a vibrant green. This visual cue tells us that the plant is desperately trying to mobilize its internal reserves of potassium, drawing it from older tissues to send to the newly forming flowers. Years ago, an old-timer who had been growing prize-winning peppers in the Appalachian Hills for over 50 years sat me down in his garden. I was complaining about my empty pepper plants, and he just smiled, pointed to the cold gray ash sitting in his outdoor fire pit, and told me that the secret to a bountiful harvest wasn't found in a plastic bottle from a big box store. He called it gray gold. He explained that wood ash is one of the most powerful, natural, and completely free soil amendments a gardener can use, provided you know exactly how to prepare it. To understand why wood ash is so incredibly effective, we have to look at the chemistry of a tree. As a tree grows over decades, its deep root system mines the earth, absorbing essential minerals from deep underground and storing them within its woody structure. When that clean wood is burned, the organic compounds like carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen escape into the air as gases. What remains in the ash is a highly concentrated, pristine deposit of inorganic minerals that the tree spent its entire life collecting. The most abundant and valuable nutrient in clean wood ash is potassium, often referred to as potash. In the plant kingdom, potassium acts as the master regulator and traffic cop. It does not actually become part of the plant's physical structure, but it controls almost every major physiological process. Potassium regulates the opening and closing of the stomata, the microscopic pores on the leaves that allow the plant to breathe in carbon dioxide and transpire water. When a pepper plant has access to abundant potassium, it can manage its water use with incredible efficiency, keeping its leaves turgid and active even during the scorching heat of a midsummer afternoon. More importantly, potassium is the engine that drives the transport of sugars, starches, and carbohydrates from the leaves down to the roots and up to the developing fruit. Without sufficient potassium, the plant cannot build the thick, sweet walls of a bell pepper or the spicy, capsaicin-rich flesh of a hot pepper. But the benefits of wood ash do not stop there. It is also packed with calcium, which is the primary building block of plant cell walls. A lack of calcium is the direct cause of blossom end rot, a devastating condition where the bottom of your peppers turns black, leathery, and rotten. Wood ash delivers a highly bioavailable dose of calcium directly to the root zone. Furthermore, ash contains magnesium, the central atom in the chlorophyll molecule that drives photosynthesis, along with crucial trace elements like iron, manganese, boron, and zinc. Creating a liquid fertilizer from this natural resource is incredibly simple, but you must follow a precise recipe to unlock these minerals so the plant can absorb them instantly. To begin, you will need a clean, wide-mouth container. Pour exactly 500 milliliters of water into the container. This is the step many people skip. Instead of using cold well water or chlorinated tap water, use hot water. Hot water acts as a thermal catalyst. The heat breaks down the crystalline mineral structures within the wood ash, allowing the potassium and other soluble minerals to dissolve into the liquid far more rapidly and thoroughly than they ever would in cold water. Next, measure out approximately 100 grams of clean, sifted wood ash. If you do not have a scale, this is roughly equivalent to 5 heaping tablespoons. Slowly add the ash to your hot water. As the dry powder hits the hot liquid, you will notice a soft, earthy aroma rising from the container, a reassuring sign that the ancient minerals are awakening and reacting with the water. Once the ash is added, take a clean wooden stick or a spoon and stir the mixture vigorously for at least 1 full minute. You want to create a swirling vortex to ensure that every single speck of ash is completely saturated and suspended in the water. What happened next surprised me the first time I brewed this mixture. As the liquid began to settle, I noticed the water changing color, shifting from a murky gray to a deep, tea-like amber hue. This color change is the visual proof that the water-soluble potassium and trace minerals are successfully leaching out of the solid ash particles and dissolving into the water, creating a highly potent nutrient tea. To allow this chemical extraction to reach its full potential, you must let the mixture steep. If you used hot water, let it sit undisturbed for 1 to 2 hours until it cools completely to room temperature. If you are using cold water, you will need to let it soak for a full 12 to 24 hours, giving it a good stir whenever you walk past. Once the soaking period is complete, give the solution one more thorough stir to redistribute any settled minerals. Before you apply it, you need to consider your watering equipment. If you are using a simple watering can with large holes, or if you plan to pour the mixture directly from a cup, you can use the solution raw, sediment and all. However, if you are using a fine nozzle spray bottle, a pressure sprayer, or a drip irrigation system, you must filter the liquid through a fine mesh strainer or a piece of cheesecloth. The microscopic ash particles will easily clog delicate nozzles, creating a frustrating maintenance project. Now here is a crucial step that many beginner gardeners overlook. Dilution. Take your concentrated, soaked ash tea and add another 500 milliliters of clean, room temperature water. This simple act of dilution is vital for the health of your soil and your plants. Wood ash is naturally highly alkaline, often registering a pH of 10 or higher. If you were to pour the concentrated soak directly onto the soil, the sudden intense spike in alkalinity could shock the delicate root hairs and temporarily lock out other essential nutrients like iron and phosphorus. By diluting the mixture to a 1-to-1 ratio, you gently lower the alkalinity and reduce the concentration of mineral salts, making the solution perfectly safe and highly receptive for the plant's root zone. Before you apply a single drop of this liquid fertilizer, you must prepare the soil around the base of your pepper plants. Start by clearing away any weeds, grass, or decaying mulch from a 10-inch radius around the main stem. Weeds are incredibly opportunistic. If you leave them in place, they will greedily drink up your premium nutrient tea before your pepper roots have a chance to touch it. Next, take a hand cultivator or a sturdy stick and gently loosen the topsoil to a depth of about 2 to 3 centimeters. You must be incredibly gentle during this step. Pepper plants possess a vast network of fine, shallow feeder roots that sit very close to the soil surface. Your goal is simply to scratch the surface, making the soil porous and fluffy so it can absorb the liquid instantly without tearing or damaging the plant's primary root system. With the soil loosened, check its moisture level. If the ground is dry, dusty, and baked hard by the sun, do not apply the fertilizer yet. Applying a mineral-rich liquid to bone-dry soil can cause the roots to absorb the salts too quickly, leading to root burn. Instead, water the area lightly with clean water first. You want the soil to be evenly moist, like a wrung-out sponge. This moisture acts as a natural pathway, allowing our wood ashy solution to glide deep into the soil profile and distribute evenly throughout the root zone. Now stir your diluted wood ash solution one last time to ensure all the nutrients are fully suspended. Slowly pour the liquid onto the prepared soil around the base of the plant. Never pour the solution directly onto the main stem or the leaves. The foliage cannot absorb these minerals efficiently in this form, and leaving wet, alkaline ash residue on the leaves can cause leaf scorch under the hot summer sun. Instead, apply the liquid in a circular pattern around the drip line of the plant, the area directly beneath the outermost tips of the leaves. This is precisely where the active, nutrient-hungry feeder roots are waiting. For a young, compact pepper plant, 500 milliliters of the diluted solution is perfect. For a large, mature pepper bush, heavy with early blossoms, you can safely apply up to 1 full liter. Repeat this application every 10 to 14 days during the active flowering and fruit setting stage. However, to ensure the safety of your garden, you must follow 3 golden rules. First, only use clean wood ash. This means ash harvested from untreated, unpainted, and non-pressure treated wood. Never use ash from charcoal briquettes, commercial fire logs, or wood that has been treated with chemical preservatives, as these contain heavy metals and toxic chemicals that will accumulate in your soil and end up in your food. Second, do not overuse this treatment. Because wood ash is alkaline, repeatedly applying it in massive quantities over several seasons can raise your soil pH too high. Peppers prefer slightly acidic to neutral soil, with a pH between 6.0 and 6.8. A bi-weekly application during the flowering stage is perfect, but avoid dumping dry ash directly onto your garden beds without testing your soil pH first. Third, never mix your wood ash solution with fresh manure or high-nitrogen chemical fertilizers. The highly alkaline nature of the ash will react chemically with the nitrogen, converting it into ammonia gas. This gas will escape into the atmosphere, leaving your plants starved of nitrogen and neutralizing the benefits of both amendments. The results became visible just days later when I first tried this method. Within 3 to 4 days, the foliage of my pepper plants took on a deeper, healthier green sheen as the magnesium boosted chlorophyll production. By day 7, I noticed the flower stems were significantly thicker, holding the blossoms tightly to the plant. The flowers opened wide, displaying vibrant yellow pollen. By the 2nd week, the magic truly happened. Instead of finding fallen flowers on the ground, the petals gently dried up and fell away, revealing tiny, glossy green pepper babies swelling rapidly at the center of the calyx. The plants had transitioned from survival mode to maximum production mode. If you have clean wood ash saved from your fireplace or a backyard campfire, I highly encourage you to try this method on just a few of your pepper plants this week. Leave a few others as a control group so you can see the incredible difference for yourself. If you want to unlock more time-tested, natural gardening secrets that keep your garden thriving without breaking the bank, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your fellow gardeners. Drop a comment below to let me know what pepper varieties you are growing this season and if you have ever used wood ash in your garden. Happy gardening, and may your harvest be more bountiful than ever.